What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, unfortunately, this is not the most positive topic on the 2020 Toyota Supra. Now, I'm a big fan of the car, I love it, I definitely love owning it, and there is some controversy around it about fake stuff like the fake air vents. You got them in the front bumper, the hood, the door panels, those are fake, and then in the rear bumper there's heat extraction vents that do nothing. There is a functional set of front brake air ducts, which is pretty cool, but you can't really see them. But there's some fake stuff in this. One thing that I am kind of sad to find out is completely fake, a huge gimmick, is the exhaust system. This has, from the factory, even the base model, an active exhaust system, which sounds amazing. There is a valve in the right side exhaust tip that when you press sport mode, it actually opens and closes to make the outside sound like it's louder. You press that button, the outside of the car, it sounds louder with more pops, better engine tone, all that kind of good stuff. And when you're inside the car, you press sport mode, and the same thing happens. You hear more engine and exhaust sound. It's amazing. Unfortunately, that is completely fake. It is all fake. So we'll go ahead and fire it up. Car starts up in the normal mode. Now when you do hit sport mode, that does quite a few things. It does open that actual physical valve in the back. It also adjusts the engine tuning to be a little bit more responsive. The transmission is a little bit quicker, suspension gets stiffer, and the steering weight gets a little heavier. So the sport mode button itself does quite a lot within the car. But today's video, of course, is all about the exhaust valve. So we are not in sport mode right now, and we're just gonna go up through the gears. Once we're in second, we're gonna floor it. All right, so now sport mode on. We'll get up into second and do the exact same thing. Sport mode right now. You might be able to hear that little bit more drone that you hear on the inside. And when you are out on the highway in non-sport mode, cruising in 8th gear, it's perfectly quiet. As soon as you put it into sport mode, still staying in 8th gear, you hear that bass as if, you know, an exhaust valve opened, as if there's some drone. So there's sport mode. This is at 3,500 RPM. Not sport mode. Sport mode. So you can probably hear that tone back there. At least my ears can totally hear. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. But unfortunately, that is actually all being played from the speakers inside the car. This has what's called like active sound dynamics or something like that. And then using the OBD2 adapter that is in this car, we'll just turn the ignition on. I'm gonna go into the BimmerCode app, which is on the bottom section of the screen right here. Go into that. We're gonna connect to the Toyota Supra. So now that we are in here, the top one, active sound design. I'm sure you can see that. And then if I go under it right there, we can click into it, and I'm going to deactivate it. So hitting deactivated, okay. And then I'm gonna code it, so it's gonna reset the ECU. It's gonna save that so I can obviously go back and have that do it. But now we're gonna do those exact same accelerations, put into manual, just keep traction into the sport mode. And let's see if there is any difference. So non-sport mode should be the same as non-sport mode. Second gear. So even in non-sport mode, full throttle, you do hear the little fart noise every shift. So sport mode on, you get those exhaust pops. So what is unfortunate about that, the pops are louder because that valve is open, so we think. However, the actual engine tone is gone. That bass that you hear in sport mode, like right now we're in 5th gear, non-sport mode, no difference. So then just one more test right now. We're cruising in 8th gear, non-sport mode. Here is the drone at 50 miles an hour. You don't hear anything, sport mode now. Nothing. There is not a single difference. So we'll go to 7th gear. Go to 6th now. So 2,000 RPM at 50 miles an hour. Sport mode. Non-sport mode. There is a hint. I can barely hear something back there, just barely when I hit sport mode. So non-sport mode. All right. Sport mode now. The only difference that I'm pretty sure I can tell is just it popped a little bit when I let off the gas. Non-sport mode. Sport mode. Yeah, I don't hear any engine or exhaust tone difference. It's simply those pops. So now we're going to take a look at the actual exhaust valve to see what it has going on. If we look up here, there's the actual electronic mechanism, the cable, and then the actual mechanical piece right there that opens and closes. So it appears that the valve does something. It makes it a little bit louder out here. But what I'm gonna do now is actually take the valve off of the exhaust. And surprisingly, it's not even hot. All right, there we go. We have a metal plate, and then here's the actual electronic valve opening. It has a BMW logo on it. And then up here, you can see this metal piece. This is basically what connects the two. So there's the valve. And this is me just grabbing it with my fingers. You can see me opening and closing it. So I'm gonna leave it open now, as you can see. And now we're not connected to anything over there. So this is just going to turn freely. And let's see if there's any sound difference now. Well, I think I just confirmed it. The active valve is fake. It doesn't literally do anything with it, not even connected, with the valve open the whole time. And actually, let's turn the light on just to make sure it is still open. Yep, it is still open, as you can see. So both of those revs, the valve was completely physically open. Non-sport mode versus sport mode. The only difference was in sport mode, it popped like you saw before, like you would expect it to, and that's mainly because of the engine tuning. One of my favorite things about this car when I first bought it was the fact that it comes standard with an active exhaust. Now, I'm used to seeing that on an aftermarket. Of course, my GTR has a full straight pipe exhaust system with a Valvetronic muffler. I can go from straight pipe to closed valves going through the muffler with a click of a button, and it's the greatest thing ever. And the fact that this came with that stock I thought was super cool, but it turns out that is 100% a gimmick. It literally doesn't really do anything. Like, yes, it actually physically opens and closes a valve, but the engine sound is because of the engine tuning when you're in sport mode, not because of a muffler bypass or anything like that. So I think there's only one good thing about this exhaust valve. If you are getting an aftermarket exhaust, there are a few companies out there that have their design set up to where one side of the exhaust pipe goes to a muffler delete and this valve actually will get connected. So some of them, I think AFE, and there might be another company where this you're going to utilize on that actual aftermarket muffler, and this will connect to a valve just like the one on stock, but it is actually bypassing the muffler. When the valve is closed, the exhaust gas goes through the aftermarket muffler on this side, being a little bit quieter. You open up the valve by pressing sport mode, and then all of a sudden that exhaust gas is going around the other side, muffler delete, being louder. So that is cool that with the aftermarket, yes, you can then make it an active exhaust, which is pretty cool, without having separate plumbing for vacuum hoses and stuff like that, like I have on the Army Tricks for the GTR. So with that all connected, you can see where there's nothing connecting the motor actuator to the actual valve on the exhaust, and I have it in the open position. So now let's do some drive-bys real quick, just in the neighborhood, seeing if that actually does anything. All right, so now we're gonna start it up in non-sport mode. Again, the valve is open right now. So you don't hear those aggressive pops at all in non-sport mode. Now, ignition on, sport mode on, start it up. And now you have the pops, look at that. So non-sport mode, we'll do a small acceleration. Downshifting, no pops or anything like that. So we're now in sport mode, we're gonna do the same type of acceleration. And now we have all of the pops. So that valve 100% doesn't do anything. I would say like this much of stuff it does, maybe 2%. Non-sport mode right now. Valve open. I mean, that is the valve physically open. Sport mode. Exact same engine tone. I don't know why they would go to the effort and the cost to actually put a physical button like that there, the actual mechanical switch and everything like that. Why would they do all that? That makes no sense. All right, so we are now back, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the exhaust valve back in place just to keep it factory and keep it normal. But comment down below, what do you guys think of the conclusion that we found that the stock active exhaust literally doesn't do anything? It's not that the sport mode doesn't do anything, because sport mode does a lot, but the physical valve, the actual mechanics that are this area right here, don't do anything. This car with the stock muffler, having the valve opened or closed, doesn't do anything to make it louder or anything like that. I am a loss for words, I don't know why. Hey Maddie, what are you thinking? What is your conclusion, buddy? Anyway, I think that's gonna wrap up today's video, and don't forget, your comment on today's video will enter you in to win a $100 gift card at the end of the month. All you gotta do is be a subscriber to us here on YouTube, leave a comment on today's video, the most commented video of the month. We're gonna pick a random winner, they're gonna get $100, so definitely take advantage of that. But that's about it for today's video. I guess if you are looking for an aftermarket exhaust that does utilize the factory valve to do a muffler delete, that is cool that this car is capable of using that sort of aftermarket exhaust. There are other exhaust systems, I think Armitrix and FI, that have their own valving, just like on my GTR, so that is the way to go. However, the one I've gone with does not have any valves or anything like that. I'm simply using the sport mode tuning that is in the vehicle to change the exhaust sound, so my car is gonna sound really good. Comment down below, what exhaust do you think I went with? I'm really excited for it. Should be here in about a week, so end of March, early April, you guys should be seeing the videos on that, which I'm super excited. So anyways, that is it for today's video. Maddie is gonna help me put that valve back together. Give it a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next video.